the Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And you're stinky.
Hello, we are the Stinky Popcorn Boys. Three boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquill, and it's our time. Down here, it's our time.
And I am John Gilardi, and I like to walk in the woods with my friends and get into mischief. Mischief. Sorry.
Mischieved? Past tense. I am Christian Ames, and guys, I'm setting up booty traps. Booby traps.
Booby traps.
God.
That's what I said. Booby traps.
This is my first time seeing this movie, and I didn't realize there's basically, it's the same actor, but Short Round 2.0. It's like,
yeah.
Man.
He has leveled up.
Different
He's
time.
definitely Short Round leveled up. Today we are going to be talking about The Goonies. We were going to be talking about Tokyo Godfather / Parasite, and then we couldn't find it online.
Yeah, so I guess they were in between dubs. I think they were redoing a dub, and because of that, it is just gone from all streaming sites right now. So
it's been erased from the internet.
Yeah, just for the time being. So maybe we'll get back into that. We'll jump onto that later on whenever it's available. But
so today,
for now, we're going down nostalgia road. We're talking about Goonies,
the adventure movie we all wanted to relive, and I still do. I still want to relive it and be.
It was like,
So I think John is our resident Goonies noob. You had never seen it before, so I want to hear your first thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead. Actually, John, you give us a synopsis as the person who just saw it for the first time. You give us a synopsis of it.
It's a very irritating film.
Oh, dude!
I can see why it's a classic. I can see the nostalgia, and I see, like, if I watched this as a kid, it'd be like the way I look at Home Alone, with all the adoration and just memories and knowing all the moments that happen. But to me, watching this movie right now is just super irritating, and personally, I felt like a lot of the characters' depth and the jokes around them were who they were. So, like Data, Asian guy or Asian kid, those are the jokes. Fat kid, those are the jokes. Like, that's as far as it goes. And then the kids,
his name was Chunk too.
Yeah, it's on the brow, but or it's on the nose rather. Sorry, but all the beginning of the movie is so chaotic with the kids just like bouncing all over each other and just like line after line. Like, it overwhelmed me. Kathleen Kennedy is a producer on this.
Yeah, dude.
I saw that.
Yeah,
that blew my mind.
Chris Columbus wrote it.
Yeah,
Chris Columbus. Whatever.
So, like, I don't know, like, I felt very overwhelmed by it, and because of that, just irritated, because it's just, like, kids. Like, I think my favorite character is the mom, when she shoos all the kids out of the cabin for the first time. It's like, oh, I hate kids. I was like, yeah, I agree with you right now.
I fucking get it.
I don't know, I expected this just to be, I wanted to like it. I expected to like it a lot.
So
I really liked aspects of it, which we can get into later on, but I feel like I'm talking too much.
So
but
I'm gonna hit. Sorry, bud.
I didn't like it that much, sadly.
So I'm gonna hit us with a synopsis, real quick. Just before we jump into it, John, thank you for hitting us with it. But just for those of you who haven't seen The Goonies for some reason, which is fine, John. Yeah, that's fine. There's a town, and the bank is buying up the land of the town to make a golf course or something, and there's a couple of criminals who break out of prison, and then the kids are sad. They go through Sheen Astin's dad's stuff, and they find a treasure map, and so they're like, let's follow this treasure map, and then they find the treasure and save the town, kind of, maybe.
It's like National Treasure meets Harry Potter meets Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
Only because Sean Astin's
Indiana
in it.
Jones. There's definitely
And some Indiana Jones, of course. Dr. Jones!
Well, there's that. There's that direct reference to that Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Was that John sneezing? John, are you allergic to Asian stereotypes?
Oh, God.
Well, I'm going to contrast John. I'm the resident Goonies lover, but, to be fair, I've been watching this movie since I was like 4 years old, and it just, like, There's so much nostalgia. There's a lot of jokes that even I was kind of like, maybe this didn't age as well, but I still laughed at it just because it made me laugh as a kid. So I'm still like living that nostalgia. And dude, I thought John Williams scored this film because there are so many memorable soundtracks. Like one of my favorites is Data's soundtrack, the da dun da dun da dun da dun da 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 da. And I was like, this has to be John Williams. And it wasn't John Williams. Guess who it was?
Who was it?
His son.
Timothy Williams.
John Williams' son scored this movie. And I was really pleased to hear that. Just a little fun fact.
Was he the one whose son is also like
in Toto?
Something interesting?
In Toto, yeah.
So is that the same son or is it another son?
It is the same son. How cool
so
is
it's the same son who did Africa?
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
I was raised down in Africa.
Wait, John Williams' son was in Toto?
Yes.
Huh.
That's John Williams'
That's
son.
me learning this right now.
So that, because when I listened to the soundtrack, I remember all the themes from Goonies, and I was like, this had to have been John Williams. It was Chris Columbus, Steven Spielberg. It had to be John Williams, and it wasn't. It was his son, which is just like, cool, little fun fact. But yeah, I think my favorite thing about this movie as a kid is it's right around the time I was starting to get into pirates and like treasure hunting and stuff. And they have so many jewels and coins and all the gold. And I just, that stuff still gave me a boner watching that. I feel like I shouldn't be talking about getting boners in a movie about children. So I'm going to redact that statement. But it tickled my nostalgia bone. My nostalgia bone, not nostalgia boner. I'm going to stop.
You're doing this to yourself.
I love this movie.
We're just gonna let
I
you
love this
spiral.
movie. It's a great movie.
I think we're in an interesting situation here because I feel like I fall somewhere in the middle, where I think I saw this movie when I was like 10, and this movie definitely makes me think of childhood and like riding bikes, but it doesn't, like, it's weird. It doesn't hit me the same way that watching like Star Wars A New Hope did, as far as like making me feel like a kid again. I don't know when I saw this movie, but it just doesn't hit me the same way as a lot of them did. But I do remember seeing it. So like I remember everything. But it doesn't hit me. I don't know what it is. I mean, we could probably do like a therapy session and be like, well, what about this movie doesn't really make much sense?
Well, dude, your opening quote to this podcast, it's our time down here.
Yeah.
It's their time up there. That was always my favorite scene as a kid, and still to this day is my favorite scene, because it's like, it's not just about going on this adventure. He's clinging on to his youth. Yeah. And then his older brother, played by Josh Brolin, is like, he's working out, he's getting hot, he's getting biceps, he's getting girls. You can tell that little Sean Astin just wants all of them to never grow up. It's a real Peter Pan type dynamic. And I love, that was my favorite quote. And I was hoping one of you would use that for your opening quote, because it's one of my favorite quotes from the whole movie. It's just a beautiful moment.
It's interesting. It is about holding on to youth, because I feel like there's like a whole cadre of movies that is like this, that it's like, for John, watching it and you're 28, it just doesn't hit the same way as like you need to have seen that movie when you were a kid. You know?
And I'm honestly not really surprised, because if I would probably have the same reaction watching this movie for the first time at 28 as John did.
Because that's one of my like questions is like, is this a good movie? Like if it were with adults, like, would it, not that having a movie with adults or having the adults be the main characters what makes a movie good, but it's like, would all the like stuff be forgivable? All the characters talking over each other, all the like fantastic continuity errors that are all over the place. Would that be as forgivable if it wasn't with kids? I'm asking.
No, I mean, I think it'd be less forgivable. I think it is more forgivable because it is kids. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm asking. I'm throwing this sweet question out there to you guys.
I don't know.
Because I feel like when you're working with child actors, there's a bit of forgiveness for little wonky things happening, whether it be continuity or delivery.
So, is it a good movie?
I mean, I didn't like it, but I can appreciate it as a good movie, and I think like everyone did a good job of playing their characters. I think I liked more things about the movie than I didn't like, but what I didn't like was just kind of this just overbearing, really witty back dialogue and multiple people talking over a scene, kids running around room to room, kids being kids, it's fine, it's whatever. But what I liked about the movie and what I think it did really well is just the kind of the setting, that American Northwest kind of small town vibe is just so nice and nostalgic. I've never been to the Northwest, but it's so familiar. It's such a comforting setting, and you instantly relate to it. It has a very Americana vibe, and you see it in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But I love that, and the in these kids adventure movies, there's always the adult protagonist, and I think, again, despite me not liking it, they were some of my favorites in terms of like the adult characters going after the kids, where like in Home Alone or
you mean the bad guys, the Fratellis?
Yeah, the Fratellis.
The Fratellis.
Yeah, I liked them because they were quirky, and they were also human. I don't know, like it was just I liked that. I like the really dramatic, aggressive singing Italian.
I love that.
They're trying to intimidate the kid. Like,
I love it. I don't even think that it's intimidating. I think he's just like, I don't have lines. Pronto Vito!
Dude, I take it back. My favorite scene in the movie, I was cracking up. I was rolling on the ground laughing when they interrogate Chunk, and he's just like, I'll tell you everything. In second grade, I pushed my sister down the stairs, and I blamed it. Dude, that scene is so fucking funny, because he's just spilling all of his, like, the worst things from his childhood, which mean nothing to these gangsters.
I know.
Oh,
I like how better yet they listen to all of it.
Yeah.
I know.
And even the Italian singing boy was like, I fucking like this. Like, this is very funny to me.
Yeah, I'm starting to like this kid.
I think it's weird because it's like I don't feel like they're like oh, we're gonna put your hand in a blender, but they're very much like, hey, these are kids. Like they let them out of the restaurant. It was such a I didn't feel like they were ever in danger. Personally.
Yeah, they're like, we don't want to fucking kill these kids.
Well,
but
they're criminals. They're not evil.
I mean,
yeah.
But on the same, like they did shoot at them with guns, and they were like,
yeah.
But it's like even then, it's
and
just
they
like,
do chain up their disabled brother, which is
not super
another
great
plot line.
Not super great. I don't remember him being introduced as early as he was introduced on my recollection. I feel like, I feel like I wish that I had never seen this movie again as a 28-year-old, so that I could remember what it was. Like in my brain, it was a lot better. Like my
I was thinking
recollection of it.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I was thinking as someone who hasn't seen the movie, so I've seen I've seen the imagery and the references and popular culture and media. I would have thought, what's his name?
Sloth.
Oh yeah, Sloth. I would have thought Sloth was more integrated and more part of the gang, but he kind of just comes in, Deus Machina style, and then that's it. And it's like, I mean, he gets adopted as part of the Goonies and as a friend and ally pretty quickly in terms of like the tone, but he's not really like part of the Goonies for most of the film, which I thought was interesting.
He's chained.
Because I don't know.
He's chained in the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. But again, just the way he's referenced and so symbolic and iconic, I pictured him just being a part of the journey all the way. So.
Yeah, I think he was more so kind of a subplot for Chunk, because Chunk is kind of the outcast. Well, if we're referring to his real name, it's Lawrence.
Chunk.
It's Chunk.
It's Chunk.
He's kind of the outcast of his friend group, so when he meets Sloth, it's kind of like, oh, we're the two outcasts, and we're going to be best friends. Also, I remember as a kid, that first Sloth scene, I remember being fucking terrified of that. Like, oh, look at this grotesque monster. Run away, Chunk. Don't split your baby Ruth with him. Oh, what are you doing? I like how
he decided he's like, I'm going to take care of you now. You're a part of my family. It's like, wait, did he discuss this with
at the
his
end of the movie?
I fucking love that.
I'm not even going to ask Mom and Dad. You're my brother,
You're
dude.
a part of my family now.
It was even it was insinuated as brother and family, but The way I came across was almost like pet-like. Like, no, I got you now, Fido. It was just like, it was really weird.
Hey, Mom and Dad, this is my new brother. And Mom and Dad are like, oh, what? Are you kidding?
Okay, great.
Dude, what happens when Sloth wants cookies at 10 p.m. and Mom doesn't want to give them to him, and then Sloth puts her head through a wall?
Oof. That's its own thing.
Well, that was in
Gotta be a
Goonies
Robot
Part
Chicken
2.
sketch or something.
I bet you. I mean, Sloth, or the other side of it is maybe Sloth is just so grateful to finally be treated and not chained to the basement that he's like, you guys need the house lifted? I'll lift it. I'll actually stand out here in the rain while they finish pouring the cement so that the house is lifted. And he's just,
dude, that is definitely canonical Sloth. I was just joking around. Sloth is a good guy. Sloth
I didn't get
has
the
a good
vibe
heart.
that he was a loose cannon or like a liability.
I mean,
in any sense.
he threw his mom off of the ship and then jumped in after her. And then that was a very confusing sequence for me, because he's like, I'm throwing you off the boat. And then he jumps in after her, and then Mom gets back on the boat. And it's just like, wait.
But apparently there was a lot of scenes cut out, like the octopus reference at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there
catch that?
was an octopus scene.
I was
thought
like,
they were
what?
just being goofy.
I know I didn't like this movie, but I don't think I tuned out. I was like,
No,
what
there was, and I'm pretty sure, because I had the
It's a deleted
VHS
scene,
of
I
this.
think.
I'm pretty sure there was. I don't remember because I've looked up the deleted scene of the octopus. I don't remember that full scene, but I'm pretty sure on my VHS that I had as a kid, they showed the octopus underwater, which they didn't in this cut. So because I remember thinking I've seen that octopus as a kid, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was just like a throwaway line, but that kind of like speaks to how I feel like this movie was just so much fun to make. Like, that's a kind of vibe that I get, is like the movie is so loose and fun, and like there's continuity errors everywhere, and like there's all this like little mistakes, and like there's talking over, much like we do in this podcast because we're all separated and we can't look each other in the eyes. But their excuse is that they're 10-year-olds, and they're actually 10-year-olds. And it's just like the movie was just so loose and fun, and it's like it's a fun ride, and like that very much translates to the product that's on the screen, I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd agree.
I can see that. Especially, dude, as soon as you said it just looks like it was fun to make, first thing I thought was them going down those water slides.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been so much fun. Oh, as a child actor, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm going down this thing 8 times.
Yeah, how many takes do I need to do?
Oh, dude, that looked like so much fun with all the vines hanging, and you're going to a pirate ship, and you're going to get jewels, and you're going to see One-Eyed Willie. One-Eyed Willie. I love that name for the pirate. It's so great.
I wonder if it's an innuendo or anything.
Yeah, I didn't even laugh at it once because I didn't as a kid. So out of respect to my child self, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to laugh at this.
Yeah.
That's his name.
I don't understand this.
I just got it.
That's okay.
So this is, I think, his history lesson, but E.T., you know how like he has like little like bread trum of Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
Most
So-
adorable scene.
It was supposed to be M&Ms, and M&Ms didn't want to do it, and then Reese's Pieces said yeah, and then essentially product placement was more or less invented or made mainstream because of that. And this obviously
Baby Ruth.
same era, right off the heels, and the product placement with Pepsi and Domino's is
With
so
Pepsi.
yeah, it's
Oh,
just so right there in your
yeah.
face. It's pretty funny to see, and I think it's a reflection of just the exposure that wasn't as high, or the audiences weren't as used to that, or it was so new and fresh, so it just comes across as super blatant to us now.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
That's a really interesting fun fact because I didn't know that started with E.T. But yeah, they shoved Domino's in your
Oh
face.
yeah,
at the
Baby
end.
Ruth has
Baby
huge
Ruth.
product
Oh, Baby
placement.
Ruth. Yep.
Well, it's like they
Ruth,
wrote that into
Ruth,
the
Baby.
script.
Yeah. So I mean, you're making money right there, or that money's funding the movie, which saves you money you would have made or had to spend otherwise.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
Steven
So-
Spielberg for you, baby.
Well, like product placement now is like, I don't know why this is the first thing I think of. well, I guess there's a reason why I think of it, but it's the Gilmore Girls Netflix show because it needed to be funded. So like the product placement in that is just a grocery store where like Lunchables are in the back at a grocery store, and like that's there. You see the product placement, but to me that's just art direction and making the world believable. Where something like this with a Baby Ruth staying in the forefront of the frame for a good 10 seconds is a whole different thing. So I guess it's just an interesting evolution of how it's used.
Yeah.
Huh. That's
I never
interesting.
noticed the Lunchables, and I've seen Gilmore Girls like 4 times. So.
I don't know if
never
it's
seen
Lunchables,
Gilmore.
but there's just a bunch of food back there.
Oh, okay. I love me some Lunchables.
With the labels facing out and
the
illuminated,
point was-
right? With beautiful faces.
Yeah, all neatly placed. It's product
Not
placement.
a wrinkle on those packagings.
Well, I guess this is going to turn into a product placement thing, but I love in Wayne's World the joke they make because I think that was like early '90s, so that was like right when product placement was at its peak, I guess, or like. So there's a funny sequence in that where
Whatever
they
you
like,
decide,
joke
Wayne,
joke on joke.
the choice is yours. Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation. Cracks open the Pepsi.
Yeah, those are 92 and 93, so definitely very close to the 85 release of Goonies.
Mm-hmm.
Goonies. It's weird. I mean, it's weird. It made me think of like watching this. I spent a summer being a pirate out on Bald Head Island a couple years ago, and it made me think of that. Like, granted, I was 25, but like I was out on an island. It was like hot in the summer, and I had to ride bikes everywhere. So it was just like,
As a pirate?
not as a pirate. I mean, I was a pirate sometimes,
Oh, but okay.
but I was like, that's why I was out on the island, is because I was doing a ghost walk with people being a pirate.
Gotcha.
I was being a pirate. They weren't being a pirate. And it was just like the possibility. It is very much like holding on to your youth and like trying to like find a moment for everything. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, like a lot of things that I liked about the movie was one of the things that it did make me reflect on my childhood, as these movies do, you know, or even like Stranger Things, or even that movie Super 8. I mean E.T. It's just that like childhood kind of like going out with your friends, and it's like it takes going out with your friends and puts a crazy twist like criminals and pirates and stuff. But it's not super fantasy. I mean, it's pretty fantastical, but it's relatable enough. It's rooted in a real world setting, so it's kind of, it pushes the fantasy just a little bit where it still feels attainable, where you can go in the woods and make up that adventure. You can go in the woods and you
or like there
can do
might
these
be a
tangible
pirate
things.
ship buried underneath your town. Like it's, yeah, I like that. It's just grounded enough that like this weekend when you go out and ride through the woods on your bikes with your buddies, you never know.
Yeah, like what if you just see that glint of gold and you're like, oh my gosh, this ancient pirate medallion, and it does very much kind of like play into that idea of like kids, you know, if you play with kids and they're like, oh, what's that little Lego thing, or what's that little thing? It's like, oh, this is from whenever this is from the 18th century, and it's a pirate and it leads us to buried treasure, and you're like, yeah, okay, and they just like pick up a thing, they make up its history, and you go with it. And that's what this movie is, just going with it.
It's
here,
like
our
improv,
time.
dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's like improv. You just go with it.
Just go with it. Yes, and.
Oh, dude, I want to fuck. Let's stop this podcast. I want to go play pretend right now.
Oh my god.
Fuck.
I mean, this is a true story. So me and Christian are from Maine. I moved to North Carolina. I went up there.
This
I
was like
either 18, 19, 20, and you were 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
We were in those age ranges, and it was like snowing out, and we were just like, you just want to like go outside and play pretend, and just for a second pretend we're kids again, and we did it, and it was so fun. We
It
were
was
like,
you, me, and
God, it
my
was
brother.
magical.
We dug up like some old toy guns that we still had in my house, and we went outside in a blizzard and just played like army guys in the snow in college. And it was so wholesome. There were no drugs involved. We weren't smoking. We weren't drinking.
Alcohol.
We were having pure fun. It was
awesome.
magical.
And like you do the thing where you're a kid and you like playing out the scenarios. You play out the same scenarios multiple times, and you bring back your character's lines, and like it's just it's fun. Like we on purpose brought things back and repeated ourselves just to kind of I don't know call back and remember what that was like.
Storytelling, baby. Storytelling.
Patrick, you
every
got any
minute.
fun pretend memories as a
mean-
kid? I know you do.
I
You're
mean-
one of the most theatrical people I know.
Yeah.
Of course. You
Well,
do.
I mean, I and this has more to do with Lord of the Rings, but I loaded up. I had like one of those wagons. I loaded it up, and I also really liked Calvin and Hobbes at the time. And he had like a snack that he made that was a sandwich, and I didn't like peanut butter, and I still don't like peanut butter because I think it's gross and maybe it makes my throat close. But like, like it was just essentially honey and fluff. And I made my mom get fluff just because of this Calvin and Hobbes cartoon. So I put those like in sandwiches, and then I had ginger snaps, which I pretended were lembas bread, and I loaded it all up in a wagon.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I literally would, like, my mom was, I think I left at like 10 a.m. and I dragged my brother, like, and we went to the woods, like, in the way back, like, in where we used to live, and we were gone. Like, and it was like, Mom was like, where the fuck were you? Joe cannot be out that long. Like, it's not fair. He's a tiny child, and you were but 9. And I was like, I don't care. We gotta find the ring. And it's like, you don't. Yeah.
Dude, I love that. Me and my brother John, I'm sure you did this with me and Nick at some point, but I specifically remember me and my brother would take like peanut butter crackers and pretend they were lembas bread and like ration ourselves, even though we were out in the woods for like an hour, just like, oh, Mr. Frodo, have some lembas bread. Except we never played as Frodo and Sam. We were playing as like, Aragorn and Legolas.
Yes, of course. You create your own.
It's always Legolas. Always Legolas as a kid.
See, I would play as multiple. I would be like, my main character would be Aragorn, but then I'd also like make my brother be like Frodo and be Sam and like carry him and like just be multiple so that I could play out all those scenes. You know?
It's just like playing pretend. If you have a little brother, you are set because they will be so happy to just be with you and do whatever. And then you are just like, because we're all the older brothers here.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like. So like, just like, yeah.
Forcing little brothers to play with us.
My poor brother. He was, and luckily for him, I wanted to, like, by talking about Star Wars, I wanted to be Anakin and, like, turn to the dark side and come back. But, like, he was, like, the bad guy so many times. And I was like, no, you don't understand that you have to do this. And I'm going to do this. And then, you can beat me for a second and then I win. Always. It's like, you beat me for a second and then I win.
He did it?
Yeah, of course he did it.
Oh, my God. What an amazing brother.
Yeah, I know.
Well, John, I know you made your brother play.
Oh yeah.
But did you ever I feel like we always played as allies with our brothers. I made Nick be the bad guy maybe once in a while. Or actually, I think I liked playing the bad guy.
Yeah.
I think I was always like an ally or working with my brother. I don't think I ever went against him. The most I ever went against him was like airsoft. Like when no friends were around, we would just 1v1 airsoft.
Yeah.
And he would hate to do that, but he always reluctantly agreed.
I
reason.
used to, our rooms used to be across from each other, and I used to just shoot airsoft guns. Like, I would keep him pinned in his room. I was such an asshole. Fuck. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was like because I was roughhousing with my brother, but obviously as you age, you get to a certain point where they can catch up. Because I mean, I'm no longer, like the difference between a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old is a lot bigger than a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old or whatever in terms of physical stature and whatever. So the first time like we roughhoused in a while, he just like he played to win was the first thing. Like you roughhouse, you don't like play to win. You kind of just wrestle and fumble about. But he just like went for the kill shot and knocked me out right away. And it was just like, I was like, wow, all right, well, that's the end of an era there.
Yeah.
We're equals now in terms of all that.
Well, at least you're still bigger than your little brother. My little brother has outgrown me in every physical stature.
Yep.
So
Same
he
here.
could definitely beat me up. Well, I think I'm more squat than he is. So I
You're
feel
like
like
a dwarf.
yeah, I am like
a
dwarf.
fantasy dwarf, like Gimli.
Yeah, exactly. I'm more like Gimli. He's like Legolas if Legolas was a little bit more built.
My brother would just outsmolder me.
Yeah.
He would
Dude,
just,
fucking little brothers
God damn it.
getting big and fucking overpowering us.
Well, they could take their revenge on us, and they haven't. So I guess there's something to be thankful for.
Oh yeah, dude.
Maybe we weren't as bad as we think we were, but I'm pretty sure that we were.
Oh, so keeping your brother locked in his room by airsoft guns.
Well, it was I have no justification. The worst for it, but
I mean, I as well. I had like an AEG, so it's like a automatic airsoft electric gun, and so it's just my brother. I was just shooting him, and he was pinned, and he couldn't do anything. So he just was in a bush, and I had him pinned, and just
he's like, I can't do anything, John.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Just older sibling stuff.
Yeah. So when you're just like, you let them get close enough, and then you beat them. Like it's such a fun, like playing basketball with my brother and like letting him get close enough and like pretending like I'm trying, and then like, oh no, what you thought was good is not good. But I
just dunk on him.
Just dunking on him.
Dude, that's one thing my little brother, even when he was smaller than me, he's always been way more athletic. And it pissed me off. It always fucking pissed me off. Better at video games, more athletic. I remember the meanest thing I ever did to my little brother. He beat me in Super Smash Bros. 64, and I got so mad that I punched him in square in the back and left a welt on his back. And I got in so much trouble. It was horrible. It was
a brother punch.
It was a brother punch. Was fucking it, and I felt so fucking bad. It was a huge, to quote Andy Bernard from The Office, that was an overreaction. Severe overreaction. But he's always been better at everything. You know that, John. He's fucking good at everything.
Talk about how good Christian's brother is.
Well, this movie does feature a brother relationship with Josh Brolin, or Thanos, as he's known.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Kane.
Or Cable.
Or Cable, yeah, Cable, sorry. I don't know. I think the brother relationship was pretty weak in this movie, honestly.
It's set up to be it's weird. It's set up to be like nice and like I think that it's weird. I think Onward's brother relationship is kind of built off of this. It's built and evolved from it because in the beginning of that movie where they're brothers, like he's going around, he's fucking around with them, and he's like doing his press ups on his Bowflex, and like the little brother fucks with him, and the older brother, Josh Brolin Thanos, doesn't blow up at him. He's just like, yeah, we're in this situation together, and you're my brother, and I love you. And then it's just like, and then it just kind of like fades away after they have that hug on the porch. That's like really nice and sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't play into the story in an important way, I feel. I mean, I only watched it once, so I could be wrong remembering this, but like, besides the beginning, they don't need to be brothers. The way the story plays out, like, it doesn't add anything or take anything away. It's just like another kid in the group.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the kissing with the girl, but that's just a gag, and it really doesn't mean much for the brother relationship.
They were trying to kiss in so many weird times. Like they in this
Didn't they fall and then just started going at it?
They were like, but they were gonna kiss before that, and then before they fell, they were like, ooh, now it's time to kiss.
And was that when the relationship was like? Were we watching it happen, or did they have history?
Well, no, because she was dating Troy, and Troy was a dick and almost killed Josh Brolin.
But it wasn't
I love how
established that she was
bullying
dating
in these
Troy.
80s
Threw him
movies.
off a cliff on a little girl's tricycle.
The bullying is over the top.
The what is?
The bullying is over the top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. But that was something I forgave just because it was so slapstick that I was like, I remember this as a kid and just giggling at it.
That is one of the better gags in 21 Jump Street. Is how like all the kids are nice, or the just like how high school when the cliches are flipped on its head.
Yeah.
When they go back.
Oh yeah, the douchebag, the quote unquote douchebags are like just the smart kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also I have questions. I mean, I know that they did like a Steven Spielberg documentary, but I just have questions about why all the Rube Goldberg machines, and like, has he visited many tombs, and like, I just have questions for Steven Spielberg about all the tombs and all the rocks and tripwires and stuff. I feel like it's like, oh, this looks like a Steven Spielberg puzzle room, where it like doesn't actually make sense.
Yeah, this came after Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah,
after the
Who
first
set
two.
up all the traps?
That's the who set them. There's
Chester
a lot,
Copperpot, or no,
No,
One-Eyed Weenie.
but
Or
they spent-
One-Eyed.
I just
One-Eyed
it's like-
Willie.
So did One Eye Willie get his ship stuck in a cave, and then he went and set up traps and then died on his ship?
Dude, you guys are overthinking it. Dude, it was Chester Copperfield.
No,
It was
Chester Copperfield
Copperpot.
he died. He didn't
Yeah,
know how
but-
to play the piano, so he died. Also, how many people have come through here? Listen, I mean, it's easy to like. Why is the floor still there? If people tried and failed,
Oh, in the piano room?
the piano
Well,
room.
maybe the idea was no one got that far.
Yeah, I mean, probably not, but I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just I just like to imagine the pirate. The hey Willie, you're setting up off with a lot of tripwires, and you've got these rocks that you had us pull up real high. It's like, oh, don't worry about it. It'll pay off in about 100 years.
Yeah. Which it doesn't matter at that point because
Yeah, it's
long be dead.
well, really, what if we just took this treasure and instead of sticking it in the cave, and we just spent it? What if we just spent this treasure that we've amassed?
No,
Yeah,
I
or
want to
just walk
die
out
with
what's
it.
in your pockets, or come back whenever you need more.
We could use it like a bank, One-Eyed Willie.
What's a bank?
Well, like, it would be a place that you would put money, and then you would leave it there, and it would, in a proper bank, it would accrue interest. And then we could take it whenever we wanted, and we were out of money.
Or we could just sail into a cave and die with it.
And set up a lot of booby traps.
Were there a lot of pirates on the northwest coast? I feel like
No, it's
I don't think it's impossible
East Coast.
to have lawlessness on the coast, but the west coast wasn't like
Well,
super developed or populated up until like early
My
1800s, maybe mid 1800s.
my only argument against that would be that everybody was fucking stupid when it came to navigation back then, so somebody probably sailed around the other side of the world like, oh, we're here in the West Indies. Here we are. We've made it, even though it's really cold and rainy all the time.
Really cold and rainy.
And there's no Indians.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it just comes down to a simple like kids adventure, pirates. That's fun. Let's have the kids go after pirates.
And then where can we
but
get
that
the
said, I'm
location?
sure
Also-
there was piracy on the west coast. I don't think that's not impossible, but it just not typical. Or
Oh, definitely
It's not what
not
you think of.
typical.
You think of like the Caribbean coast. You think of the Carolina coast.
Yeah.
When you think of pirates,
I mean-
especially the kind of pirates they are presenting, like those that was a very classic pirate kind of vibe.
Which is, again, it's actually they missed the mark by like almost 80 years as far as like the golden age of piracy as well.
Yeah.
Because if they're putting the thing at 1620. The golden age of piracy was like 1695 to like 1740 or some bullshit like that. Yeah, that's right. I know about pirates. I like them.
Well, you
Someone
tour guide.
Someone
This was one.
Yeah, someone call me on it. I'm not looking it up right now.
but I think one thing that I just thought about and does tie to like kind of childhood. But do you guys remember the show Legends of the Hidden Temple?
Guess
On
yeah.
Nickelodeon?
Fucking love.
Ooh, yep.
I
So
remember
the
that show.
movie did remind me of that a lot, which was kind of fun and nostalgic, and just did bring me that place of being a child and being jealous of the kids that I'm watching doing these fun kind of jungle Jimmy climbing
yeah.
things.
Dude, I fucking hated those kids. I knew I could have done better than
Oh,
those
yeah.
kids. Even
Yeah,
though I definitely
sure.
wouldn't have, I thought I could. Oh, I would have been a star.
You think the same thing when you're like watching Fear Factor or
I'd do that.
any kind of reality TV show like that?
I'd eat cockroaches for $1 million.
It's
I wouldn't.
easy.
Yeah,
Dude,
I
I got
love Fear Factor, but I hated when it came to the gross out stuff because it's just like I don't know. It's just
It's
I
just
don't know.
unnecessary. It's just unnecessary.
You gotta have a different mentality to do that shit.
I mean,
Yeah, you got to really detach yourself, I guess. But I mean, it does tie into kind of the stuff if you were in a cave and you had to survive, I guess. Maybe that was the natural progression of Legends of the Hidden Temple. Or know what? They should have taken the kids from Legend of the Hidden Temple when they became adults, put them through Fear Factor,
ooh.
and see how they would have fared.
Tie in Legends of the Hidden Temple Fear Factor and actually like just create these like so you're doing your tunnel slide, and then there's actually a bunch of snakes there as well. So you have to do your Legends of the Hidden Temple thing, but with Fear Factor stuff. Or in order to get past to the next level, you have to eat a bunch of spiders, and then you can get slimed or whatever.
And it's children doing these.
I was gonna say
children.
it's still children.
Of course. I mean, it wouldn't be Legends of the Hidden Temple without.
I wonder if kids are less or more squeamish if they were presented a gross bug to eat. For in the Rugrats world, it means nothing to them. They'll eat it. But I don't know what it's like in reality.
I mean, I think that if you presented it to a kid in a way, like if you were like, "Hey, eat this bug," they'd be like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah,
Now you gotta really sell it though, like, oh, it's candy. It's only moving because of magic. On the inside, it tastes
I don't
like
know
chocolate.
because as a kid, it's like a lot of times you're like get grossed out by doing stuff because you're told you're not supposed to do it, and so it's like if you told a kid, "Hey, eat this bug," and shit on the floor, they would eat the bug and shit on the floor because they're like "Fuck it, I don't care, I'm a kid."
Tell them not to
all
eat
kids
the
are
bug
technically,
and not
like,
to shit on the
sociopaths.
floor.
I think kids are a little bit sociopaths. It's not until our prefrontal cortex forms that we're like, maybe I shouldn't do this thing because it makes other people gross.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's just a fact. I mean, talk to a child. They're so brutally honest. Children are kind of terrifying.
Which makes sense
Especially,
is
like-
why we were such bad brothers.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
it all ties
it's no
back
surprise.
in. Yeah.
Speaking of old 90s Nickelodeon stuff from Legend of the Hidden Temple, what did you guys think of slime? Whenever I saw people taste it, I always wanted to taste it. I was like,
Me too.
you could dump this stuff on you and you can eat it? That's so cool. I want to try it.
Dude, I
was so
I
jealous
was
of these
worried-
kids on Nickelodeon. God.
I was worried you were going to say, I always used to think it was gross when they taste it. No, I wanted to drink that stuff. I was like, dump it on me, dude. I will guzzle that shit. That looked so good. I mean, in retrospect, not really, but I just pictured it tasted like strawberry yogurt. Remember Go-Gurts? Oh,
I just wanted to swim in it. Like, and when they had the pools and they like dropped in it, it always looked so like yogurt. Like I just wanted to like dive in it. I don't know. I wanted
Just
to dive in
creamy
it.
and
I didn't necessarily
good.
want to eat it, but like I definitely wanted to swim in it and be surrounded by slime.
oh, dude, playing with like putty and stuff as a kid, or like that weird Zand stuff, like all those weird putty toys. That stuff was so much fun.
And today there's the slime channels, so it's like kids haven't changed much over the last 20 years. Just slime gets our imagination, I guess.
There's
I
something
want to
about
picture.
there's
I
just
want to
something
picture
about
the nickel. No, go ahead, Patrick.
No, I'm sorry. There's just something about somebody like not suspecting to get slimed, getting slimed, like having that like and then it's like you just like it's a point and laugh.
Well, it's like it's families that I think they go there with the intention of doing the show, but it was filmed at Universal Studios Florida, so people are like going to the parks, and if you just get dunked on sticky slime, I hope they have something for you to change into, so you don't have to walk around the park.
Yeah,
Ugh.
dude, I was going to say two things. If there is footage of a kid getting slimed on and being, like, looking pissed after, because they all look happy after, I want to see footage of that one kid who was fucking pissed. Secondly, I want to see the conference room of the old, stuffy white guys who are like, what can we do on Nickelodeon that kids will like? Dump a bunch of green slime all over them. I know that's what everybody's going to like. Kids are going to love it. I just want to see
you
that
think
conference
so?
where they decided.
Yeah,
And
it's
but they
who
nailed it.
proposed the idea.
They fucking nailed it.
It's so fucking good.
I love Nickelodeon had a really cool aesthetic though.
Yeah, It's very
like it was because their whole brand, their whole marketing was a channel that looked like it was a channel that kids were running.
yeah.
So I know you say like the old stuffy white man boardroom, but they really did have a cool angle to it, and I think it did come out pretty well in execution, and like even the motion graphics and stuff like that.
It was very
Like
bouncy.
it's very Adult Swim-esque, but for kids. Like kind of
absolutely,
weird cutaways.
dude.
Yeah.
I loved. Nickelodeon was my top, then Cartoon Network, then Disney.
Same here.
Nickelodeon, oh my god, dude! Like again, I've got to give props to whoever came up with that. The slime, like it worked.
Disney was for like pre-puberty, like 12, 13, 14, like cuz there's like it's goofy but there's like it's got that like I'm growing up a little bit. I mean, Nickelodeon's, I feel like it's Nickelodeon's for kids, Cartoon Network is for edgelords and kids.
Yeah,
What I like about Cartoon Network is it's cartoons. It's not like explicitly children's stuff, which means it's cartoons or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just the Cartoon Network.
yeah.
yeah. Once you get into like middle school, and you're like, yeah, dude, I've graduated from Nickelodeon. I'm into Cartoon Network.
But then you
Sometimes
go
when
back and
my mom falls asleep, I'll watch some Adult Swim, but don't.
Well,
tell
it's
her
so
that.
funny to see that today with the stuff we do. So we make video game raps and we cover a lot of different topics. But it's funny to see comments from kids that clearly just grew out of something, and
Yeah.
so they're bashing it or making like they're like, "I'm not a kid anymore." It's like, and they just like rip on these things, and it's so funny to me.
just like
Dude, I used to watch you guys when you made Halo raps. You still making Halo raps? Ha! That stuff's for kids. Because you were one. You dingus.
I'm watching a clip of Harrison Ford get slimed.
What? Oh, dude, Harrison Ford. What does he look like?
Describe it.
Definitely younger. And Shia LaBeouf is there, I guess.
Oh,
Sorry,
is this during-
distracted.
Crystal Skull?
Crystal Skull 2007, 2008?
If Shia LaBeouf's there.
Oh yeah. So it is. It's definitely a cross promotion around that time.
Okay.
Because I was like, wait, can't be Shia LaBeouf. That's Disney.
Um
Dude, getting back to Goonies, I just gotta say, I kind of mentioned it earlier. My favorite thing about this movie, when I rewatched it, was the soundtrack. Just the memorable, like, I forgot about all the melodies from the memorable character soundtracks, and listening to this again, it just, when I looked up and saw that it was John Williams' son, I was blown away. So I think that was my biggest takeaway from this. Just kind of, we touched on this in Rise of Skywalker too, when we were talking about that. Like, this soundtrack can add so much to a film, and I think that was my favorite thing upon rewatching this.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we didn't get to touch on as much with the Rise of Skywalker is how that failed in that aspect.
Oh, that's right. We did
the
in the
shortcomings
first
of that.
podcast, but we had to re-record it.
Yeah.
But yes,
I definitely do want to touch back.
We'll
Not
just-
this isn't the time,
we'll
but that'd
do-
be fun to
we'll
touch back on
just
more.
talk about this.
I mean,
this,
I don't know, dude. I think it's a good time to touch back on it.
I mean, sure.
Do it.
Hit
So-
it, John.
Just the soundtrack for Rise of Skywalker. I've seen it twice, and that many times I don't remember a moment tied to the song. What I remember, or to the soundtrack, what I remember most is that weird, almost dubsteppy sound when the Emperor shoots his lightning out. You know, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we've been trained for 8 films of these soundtracks being used at certain moments. You know, there's the Force soundtrack. There's Leia's soundtrack. I mean, there's all these things. There's Yoda's song that get plugged in this movie all the time. And there's the Force soundtrack. You know, it's
Which, just to tag on to that, a lot of people don't even know these soundtracks by name. You don't even know what they are. You know them when you hear them. So it's like,
and they're used at certain moments. So there's the Force soundtrack, and it's used throughout the Rise of Skywalker at non-Force moments. So when Finn's charging on the roof on top of a Star Destroyer with horses, that's when the Force song plays. It doesn't make sense. And I think, God, what was one of the worst ones? So there's a song that's only played twice, and it was when Luke and Leia say goodbye, or when there's a really good moment between Luke and Leia, it's played. So it's when they find out they're related, and it plays when Luke and Leia say goodbye. And it's played over when Lando and his parent daughter kind of meet for the first time.
It didn't matter.
It's just like
None
there's
of
a
it
gross
mattered.
misuse of these musical motifs that they've built on for 8 years that then this movie just doesn't care. It's like, let's play the Star Wars fanfare, which is only used at the beginning of the movie, but they play that in the movie itself at these action moments. It's like, it's truly like, it's so frustrating. 'Cause
That's the
I don't
movie.
know.
That's
John-
the whole movie right there.
Yeah, it sure is, because John Williams is a genius. It was definitely not John Williams' fault, but I think one of the biggest things, even about the prequel movies, which are shit on for a lot of good reasons, some not so great, is that there were very consistent characters and themes throughout, so John Williams had a lot to work with. He had a lot of, like Peter and the Wolf. Like, you guys know Peter and the Wolf, right?
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Dude, my grandma showed me Peter and the Wolf when I was a kid, and she was like, listen to this. This is Peter's theme. It's a flute. It's happy and fun. This is the Wolf's theme. It's a trombone and scary. And I remember my mind being blown. I was like, dude, you can tell a story with music? Dude,
Yeah, that's
fucking lit.
That's
and
so
John
funny.
Williams, he did that throughout all the Star Wars movies, but then you hand him Rise of Skywalker, and it's like, what the fuck's going on here, Chief?
It makes you wonder how much of it has to do with him.
And the editing.
And just the music supervisor, editor, whoever,
Yeah.
director, producers over his shoulder, or over whoever's shoulder.
yeah.
It's definitely not
it's-
John
it's-
Williams.
It's such an outlier, and it's not. Again, it's just another reason why that movie sticks out as bad.
It's just
And everyone is entitled to enjoy it. I think I'm glad people enjoy it.
I'm
but-
sorry, I have to kill my dog.
I think it's.
No,
it's
dude,
bad.
Ragnar
I don't know.
agrees.
It's hard to
It's just-
toe that line of being like it's a good movie, or I'm glad that people like it,
Well, just
and then
like
to also think it's, but also to think and feel that it's bad. I don't know.
But just like the
ultimately-
Goonies, it's a movie of moments. Because it's like, that's my takeaway from the Goonies and Rise of Skywalker. It's like, we're like, here's moments. And with the Goonies, it works well, where it's like, hey, here's, hey, you guys, or the Truffle Shuffle, or various, like, it's just moments that they piece together and they like cut together in editing. They had these cool moments. And then in Rise of Skywalker, it just was like, here's a moment,
'Cause,
here's
yeah.
fan service, here's poopy, here's blah blah, and it's not accompanied with anything. Maybe
In
if
the
we
Goonies,
saw Rise
at least
of
they
Skywalker
kind of
as
earn
kids-
those moments. They kind of build up to some of those moments. Well, I would say they build up to every single one of those moments. But in Rise of Skywalker, it's like, wait, where did this come from? Why does this get to happen? What?
Yeah. Well, we've officially veered away from Goonies pretty hard. I know I went on the tangent, but you guys encourage me.
Hey.
But do we have
No,
anything
dude,
You
Goonies
gotta
to wrap
follow.
up?
You gotta
Tangents are
follow
the
your
best
heart,
part.
dude.
Yeah.
Gotta follow
I
your
just
heart.
like I listened to the podcast just to be sure, and quality control, and I listened to through that whole podcast. I was so frustrated that we didn't cover that aspect.
We'll give you 5 minutes at every podcast, and we'll talk about Rise of Skywalker.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, no, that I'm glad we brought it up again here, especially going off me talking about just how much I love the soundtrack in Goonies. I think that's a really important thing we didn't get to talk about.
Yeah,
And it was really noteworthy.
because it's a
And I
really
don't hear
important
enough
thing of
peop-
Star Wars.
Yeah. Dude, it's the soundtrack. It's John Williams. He's a genius. And they squandered it. It wasn't him.
I have one thing as we sort of about time to wind down this episode. I have one thing that I have to get off my chest about the Goonies and about treasure seeking movies in general. I'm always very disappointed whenever they get to the treasure and they're like, wow, look at all this treasure. Yeah, it's so much treasure. Wow, we're going to be able to do the thing that we wanted to do with the treasure. Yeah, we are. It's going to be great. And then they don't get the treasure. And in this movie, we just watch it sail away. Like, they get enough. They get a bag of gems or some shit. And then they just watch this fucking ship filled to the brim with gold and jewels, sail away into the world. And it just happens over and over again in treasure movies. And just once, I want them to get the treasure. And I know that the story is like, oh, the treasure is the journey, or your treasure is your friend. It's like, no, the treasure is the treasure.
Oh, I feel you. Especially even like National Treasure.
Yes.
Where in one instance, all the treasures are ruined. Maybe in both. I can't remember. But it's just like...
fucking the
It's
Holy
not
Grail,
about the
Indiana
treasure.
Jones.
It's about the journey to the treasure, where you find the true treasure, friendship.
No, the treasure is the treasure. We can be friends with treasure.
No, dude, I'll tell you what happened. Mikey is way too fucking smart, because if he tells all the cops, oh, that boat is full of treasure, they're going to go out there, they're going to claim it, put it in a museum or something, Mikey's going to wait, and he's going to be like, Dad, take these gems I just got, buy us a boat. We're going to chase down One-Eyed Willie's ship. We're going to hop on it. We're going to make sure we skip all the booby traps, steal all the treasure for ourselves, hop back off, jump into this new yacht that you just bought with my jewels.
Yep.
Scoot back over to shore, make our own golf course, and pave over the rest of Astoria.
Boom.
Boom. That's how it ends.
Official
Mikey's way
headcanon.
too smart, dude. He knows what he's doing.
Okay.
That's the plot line for Goonies 2. And I'm
Goonies
going to
2.
write and direct it.
Goonies
It's
2.
like one of those things where the movie doesn't feel real. It's like, no, real kid would like, I don't know, people would just want all the money, all the riches, figure it out and get them.
I want the riches. I want the money. I want that
I know.
pirate
That's like-
ship.
What that reminds me of is when you have a dream and it's something super cool in front of you or something you've always wanted, but you can't get it. It's like that same kind of tease, what you're outlining, Patrick.
Yeah. No, I mean, even as a
Hurts
kid,
my
I remember
heart.
watching One-Eyed Willie sail away and thinking, there goes all the gold. Well, fuck.
Or they
All
have
right.
to like burn it in order to like get out. And it's just like, God, if we just like, it's the worst whenever the bad guy gets into the place and the good guy gets into the tomb, and everyone's in the tomb and they're like, all right, let's work together, and then we can fight once we get outside. Like, it's just fucking, let's figure it out, guys.
You could divide and conquer. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna have more than we had before.
Yeah, unless it's like the Cradle of Life or something like that, and it's like, no, destroy it, or I don't know. I don't remember that movie very well. But is it about time for us to wrap this sweet thing up?
Yeah.
I think so.
It's let's say our favorite Goonie and what we ranked the
Ooh.
movie. Is that a good way to wrap it up?
I think so.
Cool. Well, I guess for myself, my favorite Goonie, probably, I don't know if it counts, but Josh Brolin's character. He
Okay.
just seemed like the most normal dude. He irritated me the least. And I gave this movie a 2.5 Baby Ruths,
Ooh.
which actually works because the Baby Ruth gets split in half in the movie. So 2.5 of those.
There you go.
Out of 5 Baby Ruths or 10?
5, yeah, I do 5-star ratings.
Oh, that's still too low, but I respect it.
Fight him. What about you, Christian?
I think my favorite character upon this watch was Mouth, just because of the way he ruthlessly intimidated the poor housemaid in Spanish in the beginning. And I think Mouth I most relate to now, because I'm just a big Mouth. So he was probably my favorite. And then I'll give this movie a 9 out of 10 sparkly jewels that look real, but are probably made of plastic.
Oh, they're absolutely made of plastic, my friend. I was gonna say Mouth as well, just because Corey Feldman.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
No, dude, it's fine. It's fine. But he just looks like he's having so much fun. But so I'm actually, I mean, dude, Chunk is the man. Chunk is the man. That dude, it was so funny. It was just so funny the whole time.
Dude.
It was so funny. Like, I literally lolled when he was getting interrogated. And I was
It
just-
was
that was a good scene.
Oh my god, it's so good.
so strong. I also really like Data. I know that he's a stereotype, but I really like him being like a cartoon character in real life with all of his gadgets that like actually kind of work. I remember liking that as a kid, and I still kind of liked it. I know that
Or
he's a
what about
problematic
when
stereotype.
when his dad says, You're my
best
invention.
invention. Oh,
Oh, jeez.
Come on.
What a wholesome moment.
so good. So good. I think, it doesn't matter how good or bad this movie is. It's like about being a kid and like having fun as a kid. So I think I'll give this movie 5 out of 7. Pink Slurpee drinks at an arcade that splash on your face.
We're at a 7-point scale. Nice, good old
I like that.
old school grading scale.
I'm just changing it around, just seeing what works, seeing what feels good by movie.
Playing with it.
Playing with
Yeah.
it. Playing in the universe.
So, do we want to tease what we're going to be talking about next time?
Oh, yeah.
Will it be Tokyo Godfathers, or will
Probably
that
not.
get pushed back?
We didn't discuss prior actually, so we can't tell you. But stay tuned on the Twitters and the I guess Twitter is the only touch point we have. But yeah, stay tuned on Twitter. We'll probably announce the new new film, so you can watch it ahead with us.
Yeah.
When we come back to talk about it. And we're still pre-recording these, so we don't have any fan mail stuff ready to go. But as soon as we do, we'll start integrating that into the show.
Yeah, dude.
But,
Pitch us your movies.
yeah.
Pitch us your movie. Tell us your favorite movie. Tell us what you want us to do. Hit us on Twitter. It's at Stinky Podcast. Right?
Yep, you got it.
Boom. Well, and as they say in Astoria, I'm gonna fucking make this work.
Is that a quote from the movie?
No. That's me talking about my tagline. I'm gonna make it work. As they say in Astoria,
Okay. I was
I'm
like,
gonna turn
wait, I
your
missed that one.
I'm gonna turn your whole town into a golf course.
Hey, you guys!